Our guest today is Jim Parkman. This was a huge case. I mean, this was the fourth largest accounting fraud in the history of the United States.
The CEO of HealthSouth, the Fortune 500 healthcare company.
Ferrari Enzo was nearly obliterated in the high-speed crash along the PCH.
Zenvo, ST150S.
He went from being on the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Only going to make 3 for the United States.
I'm Bobby Khan, former exotic car dealer turned #1 FBI's most wanted fugitive.
Generally, when you look at the law, 90% of the time it's against you.
The FBI put a $20,000 reward for information into his arrest.
Bobby Khan scammed super rich customers at a New Jersey car dealership.
Join myself and James Parkman, my attorney and best friend, as we have cars, courts, and conversations.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Parkman Khan Unleashed. That's Jim Parkman, and I'm Bobby Khan. And today is another day, another company decides to stick their foot into it, or whatever analogy you want to use. Today's victim, Jaguar. Jimmy, you're a big Jag fan.
I've got a Jaguar, and this is real discerning to me because I like the logo they had.
Everybody did.
And
it was
and now they're changing the logo.
Well,
okay,
like why? You know, there's the
I don't know why.
Unless you're asleep at the wheel today, the entire world, anybody that has anything to do with cars is up in arms. And like, why would you change the logo? You change your entire brand identity today, and then all of a sudden you delete all your posts off of Instagram and you come up with this new marketing campaign. This is their ad, right? Those of you that haven't seen it yet. What does that have to do with cars? I would think that has to do with something like a beauty store or a clothing company. This has nothing to do with cars. Who's their marketing company? So I have a lot to say on this, and I'm sure. So in the last couple of years, a lot of these big corporations are paying millions of dollars to some company to come up with new logos. And my question is this: if it ain't broke, why fix it? Everybody knows you. If you just saw the Jag logo, you saw that silhouette, you knew it was a Jag, right? When you saw General Motors uppercase G and M, you knew it was General Motors. And then all of a sudden, these companies are like, oh, we're going to change it. My question is, are you going to sell more cars if you change the logo? What do you think you're doing?
I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's been my philosophy for years on everything. And Jag, I will say this, Jaguar got in, and I think you're going to say in a minute, you're the car guy, but they have this, they have F1, okay, yep. But they have F1 electric racing, with only electric cars. Yep. Jaguar has been a winner in that area for a while. They have that black and green car. The Jaguar car and the colors, and it's been winning a lot. Every chance I get, I watch it because I love to hear it. It sounds like a bunch of bees running around a corner. But Jaguar's been in that, and they have developed that electric car, and of course, it goes up to 200 miles, more than 200 miles an hour. So it's fast, and but it's a different type race than an F1. I mean, they don't have pit stop.
Whole different thing. But but here's my other so Jaguar company, if you look at Jag's history, it's always been a troubled history, okay? They make beautiful cars, they look great, and like cars back in the 70s and 80s, the joke was, if you got a Jag, make sure you have a spare car because it's going to spend time in the shop. But it was a good-looking car. You got those nice V12s.
It's always been a good-looking car. Good-looking
car. The interiors were nice. I always called them like the daily Bentley. So you kept the Bentley in the garage and you drove it on Sundays, but then on the weekdays you drove the Jag, and that had this, that had the Connolly leather and it had the picnic tables and the nice wood veneers, and they were good. And all that iconic logo on the hood, the Jag on the hood, the Jag down the side, it just looked good. And then, they went bankrupt, and then Ford picked them up, and then Ford kicked them out, and then then somebody else picked them, and then all of a sudden Tata, the Indian company, bought them up, and they bought Range Rover at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel like, So Ratan Tata, the guy that owns Tata Motors, died a month ago. And all of a sudden, a month after he dies, you come up with this. And then you say, and then the other problem is they say that they're going to go full electric. Every other European company has said, all right, we tried this electric thing, it's not working out. And then, like, for example, Volkswagen and Audi and like Lamborghini and Ferrari, they've all gone to the European Union and said, we cannot meet your deadline for 2035 to go electric because it's not sustainable. We need, we need to keep producing cars that are gasoline. Now, this is happening. And Jag's people in charge are saying, we're just going to go full electric. Well, you see the writing on the wall. You know, bigger companies like Volkswagen that makes Bentley and Lamborghini and Bugatti and Porsche, they can't do it. And they got deep pockets. How do you think you're going to go full electric?
I'll be honest with you. When I first saw, this was a couple of years ago that I first saw my electric F1 race, if we'll call it. Okay, I've forgotten what they call it, but and the cars look like an F1 car, and and they're fast. And when I saw that and realized that Jaguar, of course, and others, Porsche's in it, they were all making electric of these race cars. That it was kind of obvious to me that a lot of these car companies like that, like Jaguar, Porsche, whatever, and Porsche they've gone into this electric car thing.
They have.
But that was before the problems started arising.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And now you have, all these companies know Donald Trump's back in power come January 20th. He's going to ease regulations. So you're not forced to sell all electric cars in America. And then the European Union has taken a step back and said, okay, if all these car companies are complaining and the consumers are complaining, maybe we can't do this. Maybe it's not feasible. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the batteries. And we don't have the customer base that says, hey, you know what? I want to drive this car. So as a company, I believe, in my opinion, Jaguar is basically putting the nail in their coffin if they decide they're going to hold on, they're going to change their identity, and then they're going to go full electric, and they're raising the prices. Starting prices are 140 to 50 now. That's what they want to go to.
And that's way out of line.
You're going to get rid of all those people that were buying the other models. Yes.
Are they, Bobby, you're the car guy. Are they competing against Tesla? Is that what they're trying to do? Get in that market?
Yeah, but Tesla's not selling $150,000 cars only. Tesla's got the X, then they also have the Y, and then they have the 3. Those cars are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 cars.
Yeah.
In order, any company, okay, you can't sit there and get rid of your cheap cars and just go Highline. Mercedes-Benz started at the Highline, and then they worked their way down. BMW did the same. Audi did the same. So now you can walk in and buy a $35,000 Audi, or you can buy a $350,000, So that, and the same thing goes with Mercedes-Benz and BMW and Lexus. You have to have a price point car because that's what your bread and butter is. Porsche was on the verge of bankruptcy up until the Porsche Cayenne came out. And the reason they came out with the SUV, and the purists all complained and said, oh, how could you make an SUV?
How could you do this?
Yeah, how could you do that? But people didn't realize it was the SUV that paid for the sports cars. And then the sedan. So these cars are needed. If you decide to get rid of your cheaper cars and only go for 150 and above, you're going to be broke.
Yeah. Porsche also not only went to the SUV, they also went to the 4-door sedan.
Yeah, exactly. They got the sedan, but those cars pay for the sports cars. They pay for the one-off cars. So you need to still have, Jag still needs to have their 30 to 50,000, the 50 to 75,000 range coverage.
But Bobby, we're right back at square one that we talked about weeks ago, and that was this. Until you develop an electric car that can go 600, 700, 800 miles unequivocally, no telling how many passengers, no telling pulling what or whatever, okay?
Yep.
Until you do that, like people like me that drive a lot, and travel.
Think about it. What happens
if I'm just running around town to the grocery store? It's great, but I want a car. If I was going to buy a car and travel a lot of distance, I want a comfortable car.
Absolutely.
I want one that rides good, that handles good. Why do I want to spend $150,000 Jaguar to go to Walmart?
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Okay, if they can develop a car that charges quickly, because you can't wait for 8 hours, you can't wait for 6. I don't even want to wait an hour. I want a quick charge.
Not even 20 minutes.
That's it. Done. I want to be on as quick as it takes to fill up a tank of gas. I want also when the battery dies. I don't want to pay $30,000 for a replacement battery. I want something that's in line with an ICE engine. I want something where, okay, you know what? If my transmission goes, what's it going to cost me to replace a transmission? It should be the same amount to replace the battery. If you can reduce the cost of the batteries, you can prevent these batteries from blowing up and staying on fire. Then you have a product that's worth talking about. And then there's people like you and I. When you get in your Jag and that exhaust kicks in, you love that. You love the sound of that.
Oh yes.
Like for me, when I get in a car, I love the way it smells. I love the gas. I love the exhaust coming out. I hate all these new electric cars. You drive into a parking lot and all of a sudden you're like, what is that buzzing noise? And you look over, it's a Tesla or it's a VW ID or something. And you're like, it's like a sci-fi movie.
Well, and I agree with all that, but I still go back. The number one thing in my book is I don't want to be able to drive. And look, I'm not traveling great distances, okay? But the thing won't go great distances. The thing won't go 300 miles.
No, I know.
And I've got to go and come back sometimes in a day. Yeah. I certainly don't want to, and I'm one of these guys that gets in a car, I'm ready to go. Okay? Yeah, exactly. The kids in the back go, I got to go to the bathroom, and go, no, hold it. We're going on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I want to go. I'm ready to move. And I don't want to stop for an hour, 20 minutes, hour, whatever. I don't want it. Now, the South is we still don't have a whole lot of electric chargers. Okay. Absolutely. I mean, we really don't. And so now I've got to search for one. I got to find one. And
that's the other issue. Okay, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, right? Yeah. She came to visit, and so she rented, her boyfriend and her rented an electric car because they were doing a segment for TV, right? So they figured it's a road trip in an electric car. So we pick her up, and she's like, hey, I need charge in this car. Where can we find a charger? We're in Las Vegas. We rode around and around because it wasn't a Tesla. It was the rental was a Kia. So they had to find a non-Tesla charger. We find one, okay? It is now July. It's hot as heck in here. We're trying to charge the car. It won't charge because you have to create an account. You have to download this app. But the internet's bad, so the app's not downloading properly. She finally, 40 minutes into the thing, she's like, just jumped in my truck and said, you know what? We're just going to go with you. And we went out to lunch, and then after lunch, we came back to pick up her car and take it back to the hotel to charge it at the hotel.
Yeah.
But so she couldn't drive the car the whole day because she couldn't charge it.
No. And I had a person, I want to say this. I had a friend of mine the other day that's got an electric car. And she said, I love my electric car. It's great. There's so many bad things being said about this car, but it's great. But it's how you're using it. It's whether it's great or not, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. And it's great as long as it's running. It's like anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't become great all of a sudden, I had a Jaguar years and years ago that was made over in Great Britain. That's where they were, okay. And they, there was a lot of rumors about how bad the electrical system was and this and that and the other. And the one I bought was awful. Okay. And it was the only car that I've wanted to set fire in the parking lot with.
It was built on a Sunday morning shift.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was terrible. And I wanted, Brian, I swore I'd never have another one. I did. Yep. So, for people out there that go, I swear I'm never going to, or I'm not going to, well, I'm one of those.
Emotion gets the best of you.
I'm eating my words. I got another one. But, I like my car, and I like the Jaguar. I like how they did it. I like the name on it. I like the emblem. I like everything. Don't mess with it, okay?
Exactly. That's the thing. Companies got to stop messing with their logos. if it's not broken, don't change your brand identity. You know, General Motors has been around for 100 and some years at this point.
Yeah.
Keep your logo. We don't need you to change your logo. People are not going to buy your car because you changed your logo.
Can you imagine Mercedes taking the star off the hood?
Yeah.
and put something on there like a big M. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Or like if Rolls Royce tomorrow said we're going to take the flying levy off.
Yeah. Or BMW. I mean, you see a car, you know it's a BMW. You see the emblem.
Exactly. It's identity. It's people grew up with that logo, and then change it. Come on. You know, I think a lot of these companies, these corporations, do not pay attention, and they just go to these new ad companies and these marketing companies, and they just hire them, and they have this new woke ideology, and it's like, stop trying to change the world.
And it's going to sell more cars. We're going to sell. You know,
it's not going to sell cars. You know, you're not going to pick up more people because you change a logo. Build a better car. People will come to the showroom.
And look. If I'm, and I hate to say this, but if they think because they're making electric cars that because I like my Jaguar, the next car I'm going to get is a Jaguar electric, they're wrong.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, and that's goes for a lot of people. They won't go back there. Like,
I'm not, this isn't old NASCAR days where you were either a Chevy or you were a Ford guy, okay?
There's way too many options.
Or Plymouth, okay? You were one of the three, and boy, you would, you'd fight your way out of a mud hole to defend that brand. But, this isn't the case with Jaguar. And
you have 9 million brands today. You can go pick anything you want now. It's like, so if you want to keep your loyalist customers and you want to add more people, add more cars that are entertaining, that are beautiful, that look good, feel good, and drive good.
And last.
People want. Yep. It's like Kevin Costner's movie. If you build it, they will come.
But if I'm watching a G3 race or the electric car or any of the, they don't run an F1 Jag. But if the others, you look on there and you see that black and green color scheme, it's a Jaguar. It's a Jaguar.
Yeah. British Racing Green. That's the color. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yep. And I'm good. But so once again,
let us know.
Bobby. Once again, this goes to prove something.
What?
They didn't call us, did they?
No, they didn't. They should. This morning I'm sitting there like I should get hired for this. Like I could literally look at these people on their board and say, "Are you nuts? What are you doing?"
Yeah, just pay me half of what you did the marketing firm, and let me give you an answer.
They probably paid $2 million. Exactly.
No.
I could have said to you in 2 seconds, no, we're not changing the logo.
No, not happening. Not today.
How about tell the designers to build a better looking car. That's it.
And what's funny to me is I saw the ad, okay? What's funny to me is I've always thought, and I think people that know cars think, that Jaguar is a sexy car. Right?
Yeah, it's always had like a sexy.
So forget all this other mess. Do your marketing scheme based on a sexy car.
Exactly.
That's what people want. That's what they want to drive. I want to drive a sexy car.
Put a sexy couple in the car, driving the car down
yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Something simple. Something that people can relate to or want to relate to.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'll tell you one thing. I was a kid, and my love for cars has been since I was a child.
Yes.
But I was 8 years old. My father used to own a parking lot in Atlantic City, and this was in the summer. In the summers, I used to go to my dad's parking lot, and people would park because the parking lot was right next to Resorts Casino. And I remember sitting in the booth, and all of a sudden I hear this loud howl coming towards the booth. I'm like, what the heck? I run outside, and at the traffic light is a white Lamborghini Countach.
Oh, yeah.
The light turns green, and the guy pulls into my dad's parking lot. I've had a poster of this car on my wall, and here it is. I'm 8 years old. This car standing in front of me. The door opens up, and this guy gets out, and he's got a black suit on. And this other door pops open, and this blonde pops out. This beautiful blonde in a red dress. And I looked at the car, I looked at the woman, and I said to myself at that point, I said, when I grow up, I want a Lamborghini, and I want a blonde, and I want, the whole 9 yards. I did that. I grew up. I had to get the Lamborghini. I had to marry the blonde. I had to do all that stuff. But that's what people look for. So if you make an ad that's a sexy car with a sexy couple, people try to aspire to that.
Exactly. And, you know, Harley Davidson has sold a lot of motorcycles on the sound of a Harley.
Absolutely.
Somehow people can't reproduce that sound.
No.
And let me tell you, it is a sound that is a wonderful thing to hear. And, you know, out of a motorcycle.
Duplicate a Harley. And the Harley's great. And Harley's another brand that kind of screwed themselves because they were trying to go for a different audience.
Yeah.
They were trying to make electric bikes. They were trying to make softer bikes because this new generation doesn't like Harleys.
Well, they're wrong because Harleys are still the bike. I mean, you know, in America.
And in the rest of the world, people love Harleys.
Oh, yeah.
Because they watch American movies and American TV shows and they're like, I want to buy one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're good bikes. They're really good bikes. They're
great bikes.
They're made well, you know. And plus, you know, I had one, and the reason I bought it was sound, number one.
Yep,
number two, looks. And number three, there's a store just about everywhere. So if you do have it, which I never did, but if you have a problem, you got a Harley dealership somewhere.
There's exactly, and that's the thing. You don't change something that's not broken, and that's like what these brands have to sit there and look back and say, okay, we're done. No more changing it. Let's focus on what our brand is and move forward.
Yeah. So I guess you and I'll sit back and we'll watch and see what happens to Jaguar.
Oh, absolutely. We know the writing's on the wall, but
now
we want to hear from you guys. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, they changed my car. I don't like that. Okay.
Let us know your thoughts, and let's talk about this again when it comes to a different company or something, because I'm sure somebody else is going to stick their foot in the mud someplace. So, and as we say, fly high and roar loud. So, talk to you guys.